This is the brand new Metronet Nicholson Road Station. Nicholson Road Station is a brand new Metronet station constructed as part of the Thornlie-Cockburn Line project. Located approximately 20 kilometers from Perth, one station beyond the old terminus of Thornlie, just inside the suburb boundary of Canning Vale and serving surrounding suburbs including Parkwood and the southwestern part of Thornlie. The station was originally part of the plan for the original Mandurah Line alignment, travelling from Perth to the median of the Kunana Freeway at Cockburn Central via the Thornlie-Cockburn Link alignment. However, with the change of government plans in 2002, this project was not instated, and hence the Thornlie Spur Line was constructed to make use of the Kenwick Tunnel, with the terminus at Thornlie Station and Nicholson Road never being built, until this many years later in 2020 or 2019, with the construction of Nicholson Road starting. The opening of the Thornlie-Cockburn Line was one of the most delayed Metronet project openings, with an original date stated in 2019, then pushed back to 2021, and again to 2022 and 2023, before it was simply said that it's not happening until at least 2025. And then it finally opened on the 8th of June 2025, along with the Inner Armadillo Line elevated rail. The station is located just after the Nicholson Road bridge over the train corridor, which is right there and goes down there. And over there is the roundabout intersection of Nicholson Road, Garden Street and Yale Road, which is probably one of the most congested and worst intersections in these southeastern suburbs. And hopefully he's going to get a bit of an overpass one day to help. I think that is part of the plans, but at the moment it's terrible, especially in peak hour. I've heard stories of people who take the bus, especially before this was even open, one stop from where we started the video to the other side of the roundabout, just because they can't walk across, because it's so bad. There's not even pedestrian accessibility. But now, of course, we have the train station here, so it's definitely going to make it a bit better. So it is in quite a weird spot though for all the buses. They all have to, like every single route goes through that roundabout except the 206, which I'll show you later. And then right here is the shopping center, IGA, Taco Bell, BP, which is actually really well integrated for a station as part of Metro. And usually they seem to be in the middle of nowhere, but here it's actually really good, and there's still space for more development, as you can see, as well as all these car parking bays which will be developed. There's currently 1,000 parking bays as part of Nicholson Road Station, which is a lot, but Thornlie doesn't have much, so this is what they've done here. And then of course you have all that. The buses do have to circle around all the way to Panama Street and then access the bus interchange, but pedestrian accessibility is actually really good via this path, which actually where we started is already the first bus stop out of Nicholson Road, and then here's the bus interchange. So this is the entrance, lovely big trees which have been retained here, and this artwork which is supposed to be representative of things as always. I'll show you the sign and the drop-off bays and short-term parking. This artwork explores themes around fire stimulating fertility and growth in the environment. The egg-shaped platform at the base of the sculpture features sandblasted drawings by Noongar artist Marcia Maguri depicting fertile soil, watering holes and waterways. The foundation gives life to a hybrid shape which resembles both a flame and a young shoot emerging from the soil after a fire. LED lighting transitions from green symbolizing rebirth, and red representing fire, which that's obviously going to look much better at night when that does actually turn on. This is the other piece of artwork at the station, located here at the end of the car park where there's not really many people. The Waggle Nungar artwork, you can read that as well. Looks pretty good. Rainbow color and the lake behind. Really lots of space still in this car park. Like, peak only just started and it's so empty. So if Thornlie overfills, which it can, just come here. It's not that far. And there is a video on the Metronet channel you can see about that. But honestly, there isn't really much history or anything beyond the original Mandurah Line plans, which we all know are the original and continuing reasons for the Thornlie-Cockburn Line finally now existing. Other than that, there's not actually much to say about Nicholson Road. Well, maybe the name Nicholson Road is honestly not that great of a name, because Nicholson Road is a really long road which connects all the way down to Tonkin Highway and comes here, and right there takes an L shape, because that's Nicholson Road where we started. That's also Nicholson Road. So it's literally surrounded. I mean, I guess you can call it that, but literally Transport had no stations which had the word road in them. They had street, but not road, especially a major station like this with buses. So like, takes an L shape, then Yale Road continues up and Garden Street goes that way. And then that's the intersection of all those four there, or three. And you can see the hills in the background as well. So really they should have really called it something else, which was part of the original plans, to call it either Canning Vale or East Canning Vale or West Thornlie or whatever. They were going to rename it because this was only supposed to be the construction name. But in the end it didn't happen. So that's pretty bad. But oh well, I guess we'll get used to it. So they are actually fixing the issue with the pedestrian accessibility by building a brand new pedestrian underpass under Nicholson Road over there, although at the time of recording, a few weeks after opening, it is not yet finished. But it will be very soon, because we've also got the PSP right here for the Thornlie-Cockburn Line, which is also not fully complete yet. But eventually you will be able to ride all the way along the train line. At the moment you still have to go on the roads quite a bit. So at the back there, they are constructing the underpass. And there's also the electric vehicle charging points over there, which they put at every new Metronet project. But let's take a look through all the bus stands. So I'll cut to the bus map now. So here's the bus map. There's not actually that many routes. We have the 2 and 2 and 2 and 3, which both go to Thornlie Station along Yale and Wilford Roads parallel to the train line. 2 and 2 is just very scarce though, only replacing the old 206 deviation. There's also the 210, which connects over to Maddington Station on the Armadale line along Wharton Road and Garden Street, and the 201, which connects over to Bull Creek Station on the Mandurah line via High Road. And then there's a very long 207 which travels from Cannington to Murdoch, all the way through down Nicholson Road, into the station, back out of the station, back through the old 206 sections, past Ranford Road Station to Murdoch and Murdoch University. And then the 206, which starts here and travels via actually the old 207. So it's very confusing because it's swapped around, and Eucalyptus Boulevard in this direction, Waratha Boulevard, Ranford Road into the uni, as well as finally the 2 industrial area routes, one of which is the 204 via Bale Road, which previously wasn't serviced, and that is peak periods only. So all the routes do terminate here except the 207, which continues through the station, and it is a very, very long route. So actually there's one right there right now. So we'll go through the stands now. And now you're back, so we can take a look. Stand 1 is for the 206, which does start service here and travels the typical path along South Street to Murdoch University via the Eucalyptus Boulevard section, which the old 207, which is the only route to actually pass by here out to Nicholson Road before the opening. It serves that as well, with a half-hourly frequency on weekdays and hourly on weekends, obviously more in peak. Stand 2 is for the massive long 207, which is such a long route going to both Nicholson Road and Ranford Road stations, as well as Cannington Station and Murdoch Station. This is for the Murdoch bound direction. It's also got very good frequency, half hourly on weekends, 15 minutes on weekdays, so that's very good, replacing most of the old 206, as well as the old 208, which went through the industrial areas which are located to the northern side of the station, which have now been connected over to the station. So on the other side of the entrance here we have stand 3, which is for set down, which is perfect since it is at the entrance, as well as the train replacement 908 towards Perth. Stand 4 is for the 207 in the other direction, and then stand 5 is for the two routes which serve the industrial area, including the 205 to Murdoch, freight train passing by as well, since we are right next to the freight line right there. The 205 to Murdoch station via Bannister Road in the industrial area, and then the 204 just goes over to Ranford Road Station via Bale Road in the industrial area, which was previously never served before, but it is served now, but only in weekday peak periods. It doesn't even say via anything on here actually, and all these are only on weekdays, as well as the deviation to the Good Samaritan Industries. 2 freight trains, jeez, it's so loud as well. But it's so cool that you get this here. There's nowhere else on the network where freight trains run parallel to Transport trains so regularly. Like at Fremantle, they do actually share the line as well across the Fremantle Rail Bridge, but other than that, you don't really see it at all. So that's really cool. Okay, here's a bus coming in 206 as well, and we'll take a look at the stands on the other side. So honestly, it's so weird. I love this bus interchange because before there was like nothing here. It's just a street for these industrial areas. Now you've got this big bus interchange here, meaning that so many buses go up and down this street all the time. This really weird street at the back here. So that's why I'm gonna make sure to record on the street and at the bus exit as well later in the bus clips, which that bus exit had a lot of roadworks and traffic lights installed before this opened so that it could accommodate for that. Here's the drop-off base as well actually, and here there's a lot of empty space, which is just layover. And then stand 6 is for the 201, which is a new very direct route straight along High Road, basically no turns, over to Bull Creek Station on the Mandurah line. So that's going past the old 506 terminus, but other than that it's not replacing much, although it is hourly in the middle of the day on weekdays as well as on weekends, so it's not really great frequency. And finally we have the routes, 3 routes clumped together over there on stand 7, which are the 210 to Maddington Station on the Armadale line, also very direct along Garden Street and Wharton Road. So that, yeah, it's really cool. Like you can go from Bull Creek to Maddington now, and only 2 buses almost fully staying on main roads using the 210. And then the 2 routes to Thornlie Station, which literally just exit the station to either side and run parallel to the train line and go back in. There's no other turns. So those are here. And the 213 replaces the old 207 on Yale Road and runs very frequently. But the 212 replaces the old 206 once a day deviation and only has 3 services departing on the hour at the time of filming: 9 a.m., 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. No weekend service either. Those are 2 very short routes, both just about 10 minutes. Also, the Coburn Central bound train replacement is here. And that's it. Layover bays, bus U-turn point. It is just a dog bone style of bus interchange, if you want to call it that, so has to come in and U-turn on both ends. There is only 2 stands on this side actually, while there's 5 on the other, but that's like that. Pretty cool. Now let's enter the station and take a look at the train platforms. Very nice station sign here. I just love the look of this station, as well as I said, its feeling of being so hidden away and behind everything, although still well connected to the shopping center. It's actually my favorite station on the entire Thornlie-Cockburn Line, I must say. And again, one of my favorite stations in the network, but not my total overall favorite, but still really cool. Now, here are the toilets, new toilets, which actually they have opening hours on them, as you can see, which is really weird. They've probably done this to prevent antisocial behavior. So, I don't know. comment your opinions on that. Toilets not being accessible at all times. Then we head up the stairs. There are no escalators, as typical of Metronet stations, really. There are 2 lifts as well, and 2 lifts in the middle as well, so 4 lifts. You all the way up, and then you go across. So you do have to go up and down, which is not the greatest. It's way cooler at Thornlie, where you go straight into the platform. That's obviously because it's an old station with side platforms, while here we have island, which is typical of new stations. Go across. Now on this side, they could actually extend it through if they do remove the car yard here, which is taking up so much space. There's a car facility here. All of this building, this industrial building, is just for that. Sorry, it's probably trashy through the mesh. Yeah, you can't really see, sorry. But yeah, they could extend it, but for now, there's nothing here. It's just a good view of the trains down on the platform, which I'll definitely include a clip from them up here as well. Other than that, we enter the station through here. They have the screen displays and ticket machine, emergency point, and the smart rider hubs, as well as open station smart rider processors, which look so out of place here, because this would be the perfect place to put smart rider gates. Like what? That nice sign as well. This is trains. But I think, again, it's cheaping out, just like not building escalators, to avoid the need to have the station manned at all times. And by the way, fun fact, just like at High Wycombe station, the lifts say Forestfield station, here they say Nicholson station instead of Nicholson Road. As well as the road sign actually pointing to where the train station is on the road outside, which is really weird, but that's just like shorthand instead of saying the useless word of road. It's not like that was a name they considered, just Nicholson, because that doesn't even mean anything. It's not a suburb. There are the 2 lifts, and at the back here we have the stairs down to the very simple, actually, island platform. There's not really much to see on the platform, but it's still nice. Like, you don't need too much. It's still an amazing station, way better than so many others in the network, and great bus connections as well. So, of course, we have screen displays on the platform, some seating, some bins, 6 car in length as well, because during events, of course, we do have 6-car trains here, both on the Mandurah Line Stadium Shuttle as well as the Thornlie-Cockburn Line, which skips the 4-car platforms. And all the way down to the end, there is a staff office as well. And they have a lot of timetables in there. Look at that. That's the end of the platform here. Very straight track, even more straight in the other direction, actually. Look at that. Crazy. Now the journey to Perth is about 26 minutes if you go directly, but actually if you go to Cockburn Central and get a good connection, it's 28 minutes, like in terms of travel, but obviously there's a bit of wait at Cockburn, so it's about 30 or 31 if it's a good connection. But that's not much worse, honestly. That's really good. So especially if you just missed the train to Perth here, since it is 15-minute frequency all the time, including peak periods, then definitely a cool option to go towards Cockburn Central as well, which you can do. We'll walk to this end of the platform. While we're here, I'll also mention the bike shelter on the outside next to the bus station, which I walked past before, which is definitely good with the PSP being built. And yeah, you can't really walk too well out of the station in that direction, especially across the bridge into Parkwood, because you still have to cross the road. But whatever, hopefully they improve that over time. Anyway, that's all there is. I've already been talking for 15 minutes again, which is way over what I should, so it's already going to be a long video, even without the history. Here we are on this end of the platform. You can zoom out and get a great view of this bridge, which is actually the current shot on Wikipedia that they have, which is a really nice design. I actually like the black and white. It looks pretty cool. So this is pretty much the feature of Nicholson Road that lets you know you're here. And with that, we'll start the train spotting, which there's a train coming in right now, 1 minute, so perfect. Terrible two-car. So bad. I mean, it's fine right now, but later in peak, this is gonna be so bad. It looks so small on the 6-car platform. Very nice driver. Honking at a station. Don't think you're supposed to do that, but Now here we actually have a 201 from Bull Creek, continues as 210. I was talking about that before, how it's so cool you can get from Bull Creek to Maddington on only main roads, but I didn't know it's actually a route. Like, it actually continues as one bus, 1570 NH here, going all the way from Bull Creek to Maddington. That wasn't even in the timetable. That's so cool then. There's actually a route basically from Bull Creek to Maddington where you can go on one bus all the way across the whole southeastern suburbs via the TCL station. That is really nice. Oh, it's actually coming now. Well, apparently 270 broken Destos. High Wycombe at Nicholson Road. And look at that view of the train across this lake. That's so cool. always seems to be two 207s together in either direction. It's timed like that, so that's pretty cool. Very nice driver there as well. Oh, bro, it literally says no U-turn. I almost got run over by walking across when you U-turned. But yeah, very nice driver. Good to see that there's no one annoyed around here so far. I mean, one guy was covering his face with his hand, but that's fine. That one was very nice. Well, they've actually fixed the sign at the front of the station that I was saying earlier. It used to just say Nicholson Station. It actually says Nicholson Road now, but not station. That's good. And this stop here is so bad. It used to be served by one route. Now it's served by like 10. And they all stop here. Crazy. There's like no point of putting this stop back in. I mean, I guess, but... See, look at the pole now. And it's 4 p.m. now. Traffic's already starting to build up at this terrible intersection. And also, here's the Metronet sign coming as part of the Thornlie-Cockburn link, hidden behind these trees. I wonder how long this is gonna survive here. And as we sit here in the seats in the shade of this big tree at the wonderful and very majestic Nicholson Road Station, I'm going to be giving it a full rating of 5 stars. One of the best stations in the network, the best station in my opinion on the Thornlie-Cockburn Line. Nothing really missing from it. Great bus connections, great connectivity to the surrounding area, potential for transit oriented development, and just looks good. It's almost perfect. Like, there's so little you can complain about. The only thing, of course, is escalators, but that's a typical complaint with Metronet, especially with the amount of old people I've seen walking around in the last hour, because it is off peak. But other than that, it's okay. They have lifts anyway, so great station. Thank you, Metronet, for providing these.